Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the most detailed lesson I've given you guys so far. We're talking about naming atoms. At this point in time, I've talked about how matter makes up everything, but then atoms make up matter, and then how we have the different parts of our atoms, and how atoms relate to the periodic table. Well, now we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to talk about naming atoms. First things first, review. Atoms are made out of three things: protons, neutrons, electrons. Protons determine the element of an atom. Electrons determine the charge of an atom. Neutrons determine the mass of an atom. I think previously I've said weight. It is technically more correct to say they determine the mass, not the weight. Now, here, I'm including these couple questions real quick. This was on the previous lesson we did. We talked about how if you know the number of protons an atom has, you know what the element is. So what I want you to do real quick is take a moment and pause the video. Well, before you pause the video, actually, I want you guys to figure out what all these elements are before I explain how to find the answers to you guys. I want you to try to use what we went over last class. So if you do need to, boom, there is a periodic table of elements here. I'm going to make sure it stays on screen for a little bit. I know I'm blocking that bottom right corner. You do not need that bottom right corner. But we're going to hold this on screen for just a little bit. And now we're going to go back to the problems. So take a second. I'm going to wait about 5 seconds, maybe 10. And then I'm going to start going over and explaining what the answers to this are and how to find them. Alright, so here we have, that snap might have been loud. I'm going to apologize just in case it was. So what we have here is we have three examples of three atoms. The only piece of information we've been given is how many protons they each have. Well, to find the element, that is all you need. So recap from last time, we talked about something called the atomic number. Atomic number is based on the number of protons something has. So an element's atomic number is the same as its number of protons. So we know 7, 8, and 10 are what we need to look for. So let us now flip to the periodic table I have. Now, most periodic tables are good. I chose this one because it includes no extra information with the exception of the mass numbers down here, of these numbers down here, which are the atomic mass, but we don't need to worry about that. What we know is 7, 8, and 10 protons. We need to determine what elements have 7, 8, and 10 protons. So, if you look in the top left corner of each box, there is a whole number. Those are our atomic numbers. I want you to remember this. I said this last time, but I'm going to reiterate. Atomic numbers are never decimal points. They are always whole numbers. So if you look inside each and every box, and I'm pointing to the screen like you can see it. If you look inside each box, there is a whole number. That is the atomic number. Now the numbers we're looking for are 7, 8, and 10. Because atomic numbers tell you how many protons atoms of that element have. That being said, 7, 8, and 10, if you notice, it goes in a very nice order, making it easy to find everything. And here we have 7, which is nitrogen, 8, which is oxygen, and 10, which is neon. We're going to go back. That is the answer to each of these questions. For 7 protons, that is nitrogen. It has atomic number 7. For 8 protons, that is oxygen. It has atomic number 8. For 10 protons, it is neon. It has atomic number 10. That's how you figure out what the elements are. All you need to know is what number of protons something has, and you just look at the periodic table, number of protons, atomic number, boom, you're good. I don't know if I was clear with that last time. That's why I wanted to spend a few minutes going back over. Oh, that's not the right way. So, naming atoms. So, the name of atoms is based off of two things and two things only: the element of the atom and its combined number of protons and neutrons. Electrons actually don't have anything to do with naming atoms. We're going to talk about what electrons do next lesson, But I'm going to leave this one here with just naming, which only cares about protons and neutrons. So let's take a look at this atom to the right. What we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the name of this atom is. And we're going to figure that out on the next slide. So, practice. Number 1. The gray balls here, these are our neutrons. The red balls, they are our protons. We are going to use these things to determine what the name of this atom is. Now, when we determine the name of the atom, there are 2 parts to it. There is the element name and the total number of protons and neutrons. This is technically called the mass number, but I'm not quizzing you on what this number is called. You just need to know how to get it. So we need number 1, the element name, number 2, your total number of protons and neutrons. So we have protons are red. So how many protons do we have? We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. So let's take a moment and flip back to our periodic table. What has 3 protons? Well, if we take a look, we'll see, bam, right here, lithium has atomic number 3, which means it has 3 protons. So, now let's go back. We now know our element name. This is going to be lithium. Now we need to know the total number of protons and neutrons. Well, if we count our protons, which are the red balls, it is 1, 2, 3. If we count our number of neutrons, which are the gray balls, it is 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 3. I'm not a math expert, but that's 6. So we have our total number of protons and neutrons, which is just protons plus your neutrons. If you're having trouble with that, if I'm wording it too weird, it is the number you use is just your protons plus your neutrons. And that gives us our answer. We know our element's lithium. We have 6 protons and neutrons, so we call it lithium-6. This is the way you write it. You write the full name of the element, lithium-6. This is the name of this atom. Now, I could just leave you guys at this and tell you, hey, go get to work, but I'd rather us practice this. So I have 3 more examples, and I'm gonna walk through them with you, just like we did before. So, practice number 2. This is our atom to the right, and just like last time, our protons are red, our neutrons are gray. So, how many protons do we have? Well, we have 2 big old red balls back here. Red ball 1, red ball 2. So, since we know we have 2 protons, 1, 2, we know our atomic number is 2. So, what element has atomic number 2? Let's back it up to the periodic table. God, why wouldn't it move slides? So if we look, we see that right here, atomic number 2 is helium. So we know on that slide in the future that this element is helium. Second thing we need is the total of protons and neutrons. Well, we have 2 protons, 2 neutrons. So 2 and 2 is 4. So we have a number 4. So it's going to be helium 4. I like to think that this is, for the most part, straightforward. So, here's what I'm going to do. Let's go to the next one. Here is your atom. Just like before, protons are red, neutrons are gray. Please pause the video and attempt to figure this out on your own. I'm going to pause for 5 seconds once I'm done speaking. And then after that 5 seconds, I'm going to, just like before, explain how to get the answer. Alright, so I hope you guys have whatever your guess is, because now we're going to check them. This is why I want you to do it first, because if you do it first, then I can go, alright, how did you do? And you can compare to what I'm doing. So, first things first, what element is this? Well, we have 1 proton. That's it. Nothing else. Just 1. So, if we scroll all the way back, going back, we look right here. Hydrogen is our element with 1 proton. So we know we have, get me back to that other slide, the element of hydrogen here. So, we know we have hydrogen. Now we need our total number of protons and neutrons. Well, we have one proton and no neutrons. That's it. One proton, no neutrons. So that means our total number of protons and neutrons is 1. Our answer is going to be hydrogen 1. Yes, this is a real atom. Yes, it is. Not only is it a real atom, 99.99% of hydrogen is actually hydrogen 1, believe it or not. So, I hope that this is starting to seem, for the most part, simple. If you're having trouble with this, please let me know, because if you're having difficulties with this, I can, instead of moving forward, give us more practice on this to make sure that we're doing this correctly. And so, like, instead of just jumping into the next lesson, I can just do a lesson where we do some more practice problems together, and I just kind of will keep going over a bunch of these. I have no problem with doing that instead of moving forward to the next topic. Now, here's the last one. This is the hardest one. Oh my god, what is this mess? Mr. Dreyer, what are you doing? You done lost your marbles. Maybe, just a little bit. Just a little bit. But you know what? Because I am so... Oh, you can't see it because my big old head's in the way. Ah, no. Okay, we moved my head. Alright, boom. So now, if you take a look over here, I was kind enough, because this is a jumbled gobbledygook mess, and you might miss one of the balls. These are all the balls that were included in this picture. So, actually going to move me here. Bam. Haha, I'm in the center of the screen now. So now, we're doing the same thing. We need to figure out what our element is. And we need to figure out what our number is going to be. So pause the video. Take a moment. Try to do your best. And then come back, unpause it, and we will move forward. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So now, let's get to work. So how many protons do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That is 8 protons. So if we have 8 protons, what we need to do is we need to figure out how many, we need to figure out what element this is. 8 protons, that's our element. That tells us what our element is. So let us go all the way back to the periodic table. 8 protons. What element has 8 protons? Gosh, this one. Oxygen. Oxygen has 8 protons. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So, that being said, we know that oxygen has 8 protons. Now, how many neutrons do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we have 8 protons and 9 neutrons. So if we add these together, our total is going to be 8 plus 9, 17. So that means our answer here is going to be oxygen 17. I know I've gone through so many of these examples. If you're still having trouble with it at this point, don't worry. That's fine. We can do more practice. If you're confused, I would say definitely go back through the video, through all the parts where I've been explaining all this over and over again. So, go through everything that I've been explaining and try working through it a couple more times. If you're still having issues, especially once you get to the assignment that goes with this, do your best and then let me know you're having trouble with it. If enough people are having trouble with it, we'll spend an extra lesson at the beginning of next week going over this a little bit further so that we can make sure that everyone understands this. Because I can't move forward unless I know that we all know how to do this. So, that being said, jump in the assignment. The assignment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 atoms, and those 5 atoms, you need to come up with the name of it. Please make sure you give the name in the exact format that I just gave you here. So it's going to be, when you're typing this up, it's going to be the name of the element, space, dash, space, number. I am telling you the exact format, how to put the answer. It will be the element's name, space, dash, space, number. Okay? Okay. Take your time, get this done, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.